But Savitri replied with steadfast eyes. She is firm. She is not going to budge from a choice, from a decision. Steadfast eyes, constantly looking into the face, into the eyes of her mother. She is peering into her eyes constantly. And she will tell her, look, mother, what you are saying may be true or whatever, but I have made up my mind. I am helpless. I can't do anything else. My will is a part of the eternal will. Now Savitri is making a very big statement. At once, in response to what Savitri's mother has told her, she is making at once a very big statement. My will is part of the eternal will. I have chosen such a one because my will is identified with the will of the Supreme. Once that identification is there is no question of making any change in that. My will is part of the eternal will. And she is, of course, very particular to say that it is only a part. Savitri's will is only one aspect of the eternal's will. The eternal has many things to do in his will. He has many things to do in his will. One aspect of that will is what Savitri has recognized and she has identified herself with that. In other words, the immediate implication of that eternal part of the eternal will. Eternal has many dimensions. Many windows will open out for seeing and observing things for the eternal. Savitri's is fixed. Savitri's main mission here at this point is concerned about the conquest of death. About the conquest of death. That is a immediate mission. And it is in that, but conquest of death is at this stage the specific mission of Savitri. That is not the total will of the Supreme. The total will of the Supreme is not conquest of death for what? Something else has to happen beyond that. Your objective, your mission, your work is assigned with that. But something else has to also happen in the sequel of that conquest of death. And that is the totality of the will of the eternal. But Savitri may not know all those aspects. She says, as far as this part is concerned, my will is one with the will of the eternal. And that is enough for me. My fate is what my spirit strength can make. My fate is what my spirit strength can bear. My strength is not the Titan's, it is God's. Now, well, my strength is not the Titan's, it is the God's. It is God's. Or any other statement, my will is part of the eternal will. Savitri, while asserting the identity of her will with the will of the Supreme, is making a very big statement. He is making a very big statement. And one might even say that this statement is born out of infatuation. When she has fallen in love with somebody, she will make all kind of wild statements. She will go to any extreme, you see. Out of infatuation, she could be making that kind of a statement. Now, is that the case here? Is there that infatuation of Savitri to make this assertion, my will is part of the eternal will? It doesn't sound to be so. The power which the line conveys, that it is a real identity of her will with the will of the Supreme. She is not making a brave statement. Savitri is not making a bold, brave, big statement. Savitri is not a brava. She is, she is somebody who is mature enough to weigh all the pros and cons of every situation. She is making a factual statement. She is making a factual statement, a statement born out of realization. She is making a statement born out of realization. She is not a brava that like a child you go and say, oh, I can do this, I can climb that mountain, I can do this, I can do that. It's not that, you see. It's not that kind of a thing, you see. It is a part of her realization, of her spiritual capacity which she already has in her. My will is part of the eternal will. Now, and the other two say, my fate is what my spirit's strength can make. My fate is what my spirit's strength can make. Yes, that is my fate, what the spirit can bear, what the spirit can make. That is my strength. And my will is one of the eternal's will. My strength is not the titan. Now, this line, my strength is not the titan, it is directly in response to what Savitri's mother had said. She has said, don't be driven by the titan force. Don't be driven by the titan force. You are talking like a man who is a titan, Asura, great giant. You are talking like that. And she asserted, in rebuttal of that, she asserted, my strength is not the titan's strength. And therefore, my will is a part of the eternal will. My strength, what the spirit can bear, what the spirit can make. So basically, it is in response to this line, to Savitri's mother's argument, in response to that, she has made the earlier three statements. The earlier statement, my will is a part of the eternal will, my strength is this, my strength is that, etc. etc. They are to drive the whole argument to dismiss what Savitri's mother had spoken about her. Savitri's mother was saying, you are driven by a titan force. Be a human. Be a human being. Be a reasonable being, a rational person. And proceed along with that. That is what she was saying. And therefore, to dismiss her argument, she makes this statement, basically. Now, still, a question would arise, my will is part of the eternal will. Let us take this eternal's will. How does Savitri know what is eternal will? How does she know that her will is a part of the eternal will? How does she know that? Is she making again a brave statement? Is she proving herself to be a brava once more? You see. Now, but there is such strong conviction in it. Not only strong conviction born out of emotion or out of human state or human crisis, but there is a kind of luminous human conviction in it. It's a bright, luminous conviction, full of peace, full of power, full of capacity. It is what is packed in its line. It is a luminous conviction. You see. It is not born out of any turbidity of surroundings. You see. My will is part of the eternal will. How does she know that? Savitri, maybe hardly a young girl of 20, 22 or something like that. When did she acquire that realization to make such a statement of identity of her will with the will of the Supreme? When did she do that yoga, that tapasya, or whatever is required, sadhana, to come to this point, to assert that thing? A young girl who is about to get married and she is making such a big statement here. No, obviously, my will is a part of the eternal will. This is a sudden knowledge which has arisen in her. knowledge arisen from the depths of her soul. She may not be otherwise aware of it. The time, the circumstances, the situation, all of them have been pretexts, have been cause only to make that knowledge of us suddenly come out from our soul. What was happening around, her soul suddenly got shaken up and that knowledge came out of it. So it is that deep knowledge of the soul which is now speaking out through the mouth of Savitri. My will is part of the eternal will. In other words, while Savitri is listening with the human ear, sensing everything, there is something deeper within her which is also listening to all those arguments, and it is jumping up and saying, no, 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 it is from here it has come up. Savitri has done her yoga, her sadhana through her past lives. Through her past lives. She has come to a point when it can spring up and speak that way. Some pretext was required for that thing to spring up and come out. The pretext is found and it has come out immediately. So it is the entire force of her tapasya gathered through her past lives which is speaking out at this moment and telling her, my will is a part of the eternal will. Yes, I have been taking birth, birth after birth, as an aspect of the eternal will to do the work of the eternal. And I have now recognized that, yes, my association is also with that. So that knowledge has sprung up suddenly now from the depths of her soul and giving it utterance in this manner. My will is a part. Now, obviously, there were two important things which had sort of struck on the spring of knowledge. The spring was lying there all the while, but some kind of a hammer beat was required, and that hammer beat made the spring alive and jumping up straight away. The spring of knowledge, you see. One is obviously our meeting with Satyavan. The love which got awakened in her after meeting Satyavan. She knows now who he is, who she was. She had identified themselves immediately after their meeting. And she knows who he is. I have been meeting him life after life. He has been waiting for me. I have been looking after him. Now it is that power of love which got awakened in her after meeting Satyavan has brought her soul to the forefront, brought out completely, and it is that soul which is now speaking out. The power of love is the one which is bringing that knowledge to Savitri. At the same time, there is something equally significant. When Savitri met Satyavan, at that time she had the least idea of what was going to happen 1 year after the marriage. When they met, she had the least idea. Yes, we have recognized each other's identity. We have grown together through ages, through life after life. But that did not still give her knowledge that something calamitous is going to happen tomorrow. So, although the power of love is there, that power of love does not disclose the doom which was waiting also. That waiting doom was made known to Savitri by Narad. That is the important contribution of Narad. By disclosing it, yes, you have discovered love, but Savitri, there is a doom also standing in front of you. What about that? You have found love. You have to also find doom. Your part of the mission lies not only discovering love, but also doom. You have to tackle doom. And that word which Narad had uttered, was enough for Savitri's soul to seize the entire issue. Why I am here, what for I am here, that whole issue is seized by Savitri's soul. And now it is that Savitri's soul which has completely come out and telling, my will is a part of the eternal will. My fate is what my spirit strength can make. My fate is what my spirit strength can bear. My strength is not a Titan, it is God's. It is that double action of the power of love and the utterance of Narad. Narad had put his force into the soul of Savitri, and it just sprung up suddenly like that. I had discovered my glad reality beyond my body in another's being. I have found the deep and changing soul of love. This is what now Savitri says. I have found the deep and changing soul of love. She says that I have found that. Now there is a necessity for me to go anywhere else. What for? When I have discovered the soul of love, I don't have to go around anywhere now and finding it is there only. I have discovered my glad reality. That is my true reality, my happy reality. My true happiness is there in that, beyond my body. Yes, it is not the spiritual Savitri. Beyond that, in Him I have discovered that. I have discovered my glad reality beyond my body in another's being. I have found the deep and changing soul of love. Now this is important. Beyond my body in another's being. See, Savitri may be divine and all that. Of course, she is divine now. She will discover also her full divinity later on. She has taken the human form. She is fully human at this stage, and she has discovered her glad reality also. Still, it is not her body. It is of, in a certain sense, not of much consequence. Her body. It has been discovered in somebody else's body. Somebody else's body. Body in another's being. It is the identification of my being, my physical, with the physical of somebody who is ready in that respect. That is more important. That is the true love. That is the true reality. That is the true gladness of their coming together and meeting. That is the true gladness of the coming together. That is the reality, you see. I have found the deep, unchanging soul of love. Is what she says. Then how shall I desire a lonely good? If it is so, then look, you are telling me something which I cannot accept now. She is pleading to her mother, telling her very sweetly, sorry, I cannot accept you. Once I have got this thing. Then how shall I desire a lonely good? Because I discovered in somebody else's body that reality, it is not Savitri alone, lonely, who is going to find happiness. You see. Or slave aspiring to white vacant peace. Yes, I might go and live in the vacancy of peace, pure peace and all that. I may be totally absorbed into peace, forgetting this world, this creation, this problem, this issue, everything. I might completely forget about it. I might get totally absorbed. The endless hope that made my soul spring forth out of his infinite solitude and sleep. Why my soul has come? Soul has come from the solitude, from the sleep, to find identity in the body of somebody else. My body in another's being. It is to identify, to refine that thing, to discover that thing, that I have come here. Endless hope that made my soul spring forth. My soul spring forth out of his infinite solitude and sleep. It was very happy there in the transcendent. It had no worry at all. It could have remained happy also there. But then that would have been only within myself. I had to discover in another's being. That is the whole thrust she is making.